We're going to go live in a minute. Good afternoon and welcome to another one of our shows. This is Real Women Atlanta Live. I am your host, Charmaine Moss. And of course, I got my girl with me, my co-host, Deidre. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. It's a great day in the neighborhood.
She's our Miss Rogers.
Mrs. Rogers.
Miss Rogers. Listen, guys, today is going to be an amazing show as always. You know, Real Women Atlanta Live. We profile, we spotlight amazing Black women in our communities, and today is no exception. We have got the awesome, the wonderful Miss Lois with us with Lois Lane Business Consulting Firm. Girl, you know you are all that and then some. So Lois, welcome to a show. Thank you so much for being a part of a show. When I reached out to you, you said yes immediately, although you didn't know what you were saying yes to. She just said yes, whatever you need me to do. But yeah, thank you so much for availing yourself to us and to our audience. We know that you've got a wealth of information to share, and we're just going to have an amazing time.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's always nice to be amongst like-minded, wonderful women who are community-based. So I'm here for
it. Absolutely. We met Lois last year. I met Lois last year at a lunch at one of the restaurants in Camp Creek.
Old Lady Gang on Camp Creek.
Old Lady Gang. Okay, we shouting out Old Lady Gang, so y'all need to give us free lunch. Okay. Lois and her beautiful daughter Chloe was sitting at the table right next to us, and so we were just having a discussion. I mean, I think sometimes the discussion was real intense, but it was in love, and we didn't know that Lois was paying us any attention at all. And it wasn't until the waiter came and brought the check, and he brings it to me, and which I was going to pay for everybody's lunch anyhow. And so he asked the question, he says, is this all going to be on one? And so Sandy, you know Sandy Pruitt, she says, he asked for my ID. I was giving him my card, and he asked for my ID. And so Sandy Pruitt says, well, if the name on her cards doesn't match the name on her ID, I ain't with her. And so I just said, well, then you buy your own lunch then. And that's when Lois said, I'll pay for it. And we looked over like, what? And so she said, y'all some bad sisters. She said, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I've been listening to you guys. And it was like they just came over, they pulled their table over basically, and we all just started talking. And and we've been connected ever since. I think we must have spent at least another hour talking or so.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I just, through the conversation, I just saw that you women were trying to really make an impact on how you can engage the young adults in economics and, political voting, being more active. And I was just very inspired by that. And I said, I'm going to buy these women lunch because they're out here trying to make a difference. People don't understand the back end work that goes on into making that impact, right? So there's a lot of time and investment, and just really you have to have a heart condition for it. So once I saw that, I was like, I'm going to buy these ladies lunch. Because my daughter is a young adult, 15 years old. And so I definitely want individuals that are, trailblazers such as yourself.
Thank you.
impacting her and her peers as well. And so that's why I do what I do as well. So we need a whole village, a whole tribe of us.
Amen. Amen.
Yes,
You know what? And I love that word. Ever since I heard you say it, man, I'm telling you, that made such an impact. Tribe. I heard Lois say, she said, everybody can't be a part of your tribe, Charmaine.
Yes.
Like,
say it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Everyone can't be a part of your tribe. You've got to, there's a certain, I want to use the word ingredients, but it's like you got to have people with like character and
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like-mindedness, like-minded condition.
Yes. I love that. And I've been using that ever since. And so she was like, Charmaine, you're part of my tribe. And I'm like, hey.
So whenever you pick up the phone and call me, I am like, all right, I'm here. What's up?
Yeah. I love that about you. Go ahead, Deidre.
Well, Lois, we just want to kind of tap into it. Tell us about yourself. Let all the people know, all the callers that are here now, all of the wonderful things that encompass Lois.
Okay, got it. How much time do we have?
No, a lot, girl. Just do what you want.
So essentially, I'm an Atlanta native, and I'm from the west side of Atlanta. And my mother moved us earlier on to Austell. And at that time, we were the first Black family in the neighborhood. And that was the time where, it was nothing but rebel flags. This back in the day where, my teachers could still reprimand me, chastise me, and even whoop me if they wanted to when we were in Atlanta. So when we moved to all Caucasian neighborhood with rebel flags, I was like, why would you do this to us? But it definitely added an additional layer and dynamic. She really just tried to get us out of an environment of violence, and nothing was being done. And I have 3 older brothers, so that's 3 Black males that she was trying to save as well. But in light of that, that stark change, I think, definitely made an impact on me. But one of the most important things that made an impact on me was when I went to college, and then I stepped into a career, and I had a mentor in human resources. And this was a young lady, African American, and she was 10 years my senior in human resources. And she just took me under her wing and groomed me. And we took an Inc. 500 company to a Fortune 500 company. But during that time of her just, taking me into her village, right, so to speak, I recognized the disparity gap between minorities and other ethnicities. So there were leaders and movers and shakers that not only had the credentials, the actual history and background of making things happen for the position qualified for, but they weren't given the opportunity. Whereas there were the C-level executives who were all Caucasian, and they brought their buddies on, no background necessary. You could have a degree in sociology, and we're gonna put you in a leadership position here. And I just thought that is so unfair, but I was still young and very innocent. And so I kind of got the nasty taste of America early on. So I left corporate and decided to start my own consulting firm, helping minority business owners get a better piece of the pie and a more deserving piece of the pie. So that is my story. I've been successfully doing that for over 10 years. And I am now channeling my energy to young adults, because I feel like if you focus on the youth, ages 15 to 25 for me specifically, it'll give them a head start to where we're not playing catch up so much like I find us doing so often.
Got it. Oh, that's amazing.
Right. So, okay. So before we talk about the young people, let's talk about some of the experiences that you've had with developing businesses. What goes into that? I mean, if somebody wanted to start a business, what's the first thing they do?
So if we're speaking on, I've done business consulting from a standpoint of these individuals already have pre-existing businesses. So I initially go in assessing their business, looking at the infrastructure. Was it set up properly? And was it set up to be scalable? Because one thing that most of us go into businesses doing is we have a talent, we have a skill, we have a team, so to speak, and we're going to make this work. But it doesn't ever create that room to grow, or we get so engaged. What I find is the minority business owners get so engaged into the actual inner workings of the business. They're too busy working in their business to work on their business, if that makes sense. So
Yes.
when I'm able to come in from a standpoint of looking at it to work on it, right? I can see, okay, this is working great. This we need to do more of. This is very inefficient. It's not really adding to the bottom line in a positive way. This we need to just do away with, right? Or this we need to tweak a little bit. So I assess the infrastructure that's already there, and I try to ensure that it's scalable. Because if your business isn't set to grow, then you're going to be stagnant, and you're not going to be in a position to, when an opportunity comes, actually take advantage of that.
So when you say scalable, you're talking about growth.
Mm-hmm. You need to be able to scale up and scale down, because there are seasons in every business. So whenever there is a valley where this is a slow time for many businesses, simply because of COVID, if you don't have a scalable business, it can actually put you out of business. Does that make sense? But also having an infrastructure set up to where if a really big opportunity comes, you're able to easily scale up to take advantage of that as well. So scaling it could be as simple as, and most of the time people have the capacity within their business, they're just not efficiently running it. So when you take a step back and look at it versus being in it, you can see it a little bit more clearly.
That was a key component, because I know myself that I'm in it so much to where I can't, I know what I want the big picture to look like, but I'm so into it, I can't form that big picture. Right. And just to add to or follow up with that as well, it's important that we think at people's feet to gain this type of wisdom. So I'm hoping that people are here that are engaging, that are in businesses, and you need help. You're in it, as she said, but you can't grasp or get the tool. It's okay to have, people like you that can come in, that can make this picture whole, that they've envisioned. And if you can kind of just speak on that, and with the people that you, your clients, and how people can engage and come into this space.
Okay. Well, what I find, as I stated before, is for minorities, we are we have an issue with trusting, to be honest. And so we want to do everything ourselves, because we want to make sure it gets done right. Or if someone doesn't do it properly, we take on that task. And so as the owner, you shouldn't be so involved in it, because you're going to have to take that time to evaluate what is working as well. So when I came from corporate, like I said, we took an Inc. to a Fortune 500 company. I came from a standpoint of understanding that they have budgets to ensure that, they're forecasting of where they want to go, where they see the future of their business going, that they have budgets set up to bring professionals in that are experts in consulting in a specific area, wherever it may need more improvement on. They have a budget for that. And they don't have a problem bringing in an expert and training their leadership team, right? So if you have a leadership training, that's the most cost efficient thing that you can do, because once your leadership team is trained, then that can trickle down to every other aspect of the business. And you not only have to, you won't just have yourself as the asset, you'll have a team of individuals with you that are an asset that can articulate that to many other individuals. So having a budget and trusting someone to come in and actually teach, that's the biggest part, and that's huge. So just consider, where am I and where do I envision my business going? And then where can I use the help? And then trust who you bring in to help you. And I mean, if it takes you checking references or getting referrals or, all of those things, do your due diligence to ensure that the person that you're bringing in is competent and capable, at least experienced in what they're saying that they can do for your business.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the difference is people, the big companies have budgets. Our minority business, we don't even think of a budget. We don't even think of training. We don't think of coming back with our original team. You know what we start doing before we train them? We get rid of them. Oh, you know what? See, you don't see the vision. We were on the same page, but we no longer are. Bring someone in that's a third party entity. They don't have emotional attachment, right? They are coming in to ensure the success of your business. And so you can trust that. It's not a slated, because people, when we go into business, for the most part, we're going into business with our friends, our trusted, individuals who are familiar with us at times, right? So you have an opinion and you have an opinion and we're clashing heads. But if you bring a third party expert in, it levels the playing field, right? So based upon what you all have going on, right, their non-biased opinion, they're going to give you the keys to success on whatever those broken areas are that need strengthening.
Wow. I heard you you use the word budgeting and forecasting. And those are, to me, two words that I know that most businesses don't even think about doing. They have a business idea. Most people know how to incorporate, to do an incorporation, whether it's the right one for their business or not. They don't know whether or not they need an LLC or a C Corp or S Corp, or, they just know that I need to contact the Secretary of State, the basic stuff. I know that I can call the IRS or go on irs.gov and get my EIN number. I know that, I need these things before I can start the business. But after that, a lot of people miss, I need a marketing plan for my business. And like you said, budgeting. I need a 2-year plan or a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. We tend to miss all of those things because we got this great business idea and we just want to run out there and do it.
Well, I'm here for people running out there and doing it, because you got to get started. There's so many people with great ideas and they never get started trying to work about it being perfect, right? But what you'll learn is perfection is not a prerequisite. And the great thing about when you start a business, you can actually get an LLC, right? So obviously, is it you as a sole proprietor? That's important to know and document. But you have a 2-year grace period to decide, is S Corp the better filing for you as far as tax-wise goes? And you will know that based upon what you've accomplished within those 2 years. And so when we talk about filing as an S Corp or as an, which way to file, your tax professional will be able to educate you on which way you can do it. But you have a 2-year window to figure out which one is better suited. So even if you're just trying to get started and go, at least just get you an LLC, get you some business insurance. It's not very expensive. Get you some business insurance, and that legitimizes your business. To be honest, I started consulting because I said, I just want to go and help minority business owners. I didn't have all my logistic ducks in a row. I actually started out because a gentleman, we were going to barter services, and I decided to go ahead and make him my first client. and I grew his business over 400%. But during that time,
Right.
I was able to get all those things in a row. So my whole thing is, yes, get started, right? And
Yeah.
even if it's just getting an LLC and getting your business insurance, those gaps will be filled in along the way. But it is very, very necessary for us to take time, right? And reflect, okay? At least every 3 months. So if I understand when we start small, so when you're starting small, it's you doing everything. Sometimes you're going to be the admin, your cell phone's your business phone, you're doing payroll, you're trying to do it all, right? Being in it versus working on it. But
Right.
make sure that you're taking the time to step back at least once a quarter to evaluate what did I do well and what can I improve on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we never get an opportunity to breathe and look at that, right? Like, okay, why did I start this? What was my goal? Am I going towards that goal or further away from it? Have I lost the vision altogether? What could I use that would strengthen what I have going on to get me back in the right direction? So always take a step back at least, once a quarter, if that's all the time you got, because I know our bandwidth get really, really short. But take a step back so that you can look at the trajectory of your business and make sure you're on course.
Right. Wow. Incredible. Have you ever had a client that have asked you to consult with them and you just knew that their business wasn't a good business idea?
I have that's interesting, because what I've learned is you can have a successful business doing the wildest things.
Yes.
So I've never had a client where I felt like it was a bad business deal, because you could always help them funnel that vision to something that makes sense.
Wow.
But I have had clients where our moral compass did not line up, and I'm so big on integrity and character in my name, to where if it's not lining up on that level, then I will walk away.
Wow.
Yeah, money isn't everything for me.
Wow.
So not the business ideas specifically, because I've seen the craziest stuff just go bonkers, right? Think about
Right.
even Amazon. It was an online bookstore. I remember when I went to Georgia State University and we didn't have a particular book. They were like, oh, well, just go to Amazon. That was just the online bookstore. Now he's selling patio. I just bought some patio furniture
What?
from Amazon. He just made it to becoming the the first trillionaire, right?
What?
So the wildest ideas. If
Yeah.
you stay with something long enough, it has no choice but to pop. Yeah.
And I love that you said that, because it's so many people, with myself included. I just had to wake up one day and say, you know what? Let me stop. Like you were saying earlier, trying to put a perfect picture together and, okay, well, let me do this first, or let me do this first, or let me pull this together before I don't know if I'll have all these different things, instead of just coming out and just jumping, right? Into the water. And then, talk a little bit about that with those people who are just still, they have this great business idea. They want to come out, they want to, but they're just afraid. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to be that perfectionist, because HR is very meticulous when it comes to ABCD, structure. So I started in consulting, and I just knew I wanted to help, right? And I knew I wanted to help minority business owners. I didn't have like a specific vision other than I'm going to go help us get a bigger piece of the pie. So as long as you start, as you're going, just like Amazon started as a bookstore, right? He's not. I don't even think people think about books when they think about Amazon anymore. That
No.
your experience, you're gonna learn along the way, and that's gonna cultivate and really streamline your ideas and your thoughts. And one thing that I've found, because I've consulted in a variety of industries with minority business owners, whether it's arbitrary, body shops, electrical, most of these I taught myself how to learn how to read blueprints and things of that nature. And my track record is 100% successful. So being perfect is not a prerequisite. And I say that wholeheartedly from my own standpoint, because I've jumped in industries with no former knowledge. What I know is business, but that industry I was not specifically well versed on, and I still was able to apply my business knowledge and help make them successful. And I don't even want to get religious with y'all, but listen, when we talk about filling in the gaps, I would be sitting at a red light and thinking of, okay, what's the next contract that I can get for this client? And I would look to my right and it would say, contract electricians wanted. And it would be one of the largest contracts that I would get. So, I mean, literally thinking about it, those gaps, when I say the gaps will be filled in,
Wow.
I am the living testimony of the gaps will be filled in. And I did a contract. Actually, I was there on Camp Creek when I met you, Charmaine, because I was waiting for a meeting with one of my clients with Hertz. And I did this contract with Hertz. And when I started with them, they were like, oh, it's just a couple of vehicles. You probably have 15 a week. I was making over 100,000 a month with them. And it was nothing what they said, but they wanted to put me on a 30-day net. So upon putting me on a 30-day net, I'm like, okay, I need to be able to pay my teams, because my teams I pay them every bi-weekly, right? So I didn't have the capital for the volume we were doing at that point. And when we talk about filling in the gaps, so one of the executives that it impacted his bottom line most, he said, Lois, we cannot afford to lose you. Like, you're the best that we've had filling this role. And I'm going to cover you for 2 months so that you can agree and say, okay, you'll stay with this 30-day net that we have to put you on. So filling in the gaps. You understand what I'm saying? I was thinking, where am I going to get this capital from to carry them, you know, for 30 days? Because I had other projects going on. And yeah, he came to me like, we can't lose you. So what do I got to do? Cover me for 2 months. And he paid me every 3 to 5 days. He made sure. And so my capital, it went, you know, it exceeded the resources that was actually needed. So I just want y'all to truly understand that filling in the gaps, it will be made for you. You will not know how. That's where faith comes into play. And you just have to have the thought of, I know it will work. I know I will win. And you literally do just that.
We don't call it. We don't call it filling in the gap. We call it Jesus.
Okay, but
we call it
filling in the gaps because
his name is Jesus. Okay.
Listen, I call it filling in the gaps because when you talk about perfection, you want it perfect. If it's perfect, you don't need no help, right?
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
If you get started, there are some things that you might not have still tight, but those gaps will be filled. So, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so that was actually because you were telling us that story about how you got the contract with Hertz. It wasn't even something that you were looking for. It wasn't even something that you were qualified for, but the opportunity came to you And because of your business knowledge, you were able to apply that to this situation and
Yes.
made millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, very true. I actually had a client that I took on, and upon he's like, he didn't want to, and this is everyone is like, I need to increase revenue, increase revenue, increase revenue, and that is just so common for. But I always try to teach business owners because obviously I know you want to increase revenue, but when that volume come in as a result of that increased revenue, is your infrastructure set up to withstand it and keep the consistency of quality that you're kicking out right now with this lower volume? So that's when we talk about what's scalable. But essentially, while we were still having that conversation, I ended up getting him just so that I could satisfy that I need revenue. I got him the contract with Hertz in less than a week of coming on board to assist him. And I said, I guess I'm gonna have to work backwards with him because you want to meet people where they are.
Right.
And he ended up forfeiting on our contract and did not want to pay me. So I just continued cultivating that relationship. And I knew that I had a robust network, and they ended up needing my services. Well, they needed someone to handle the detailing for their Uber and Lyft program and for the state of Georgia. And I ended up handling all that for them.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
And
Never
there's
detailed a car in my life. I'm serious. Never detailed a car in my life prior to.
Wow.
And ended up, doing amazing things with that.
Incredible.
Yeah. There's one word that, of course, is very important with businesses and especially small businesses and kicking off, which is consistency. And that's very hard, especially with, you're coming out with this idea and you're like, okay, the excitement is there and you're like, boom, 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 I'm going to do this. And it's amazing. Everyone's responding to me. Yay. Then you get this quiet and you're like, okay, can you talk about the importance of being consistent?
Absolutely. So the beginning of all of it, in my opinion, starts with working within your passion and your purpose. I know that God has created me to have a really receptive spirit and personality with other individuals. So I can connect the dots. I can be that, person in the middle. And I didn't necessarily know the specific direction, but I knew that if I stayed on that path, it would continue to develop and evolve, etc. So when we talk about consistency, staying within your passion will help you stay consistent because you know that it's something that's in you, a God-given talent or something that you have, a passion for. So when it's not popping and popular and everybody's buzzing, you still know the purpose behind it, right? So you can stay consistent because it's bigger than the income. It's about impact and income, right?
Wow.
So
Good.
it's not always gonna be at the height of the mountain where everyone's shouting your name, but if you know that this is what your purpose to do, if you know this is something you're passionate about, that will carry you when all the noise, the chatter, and the cheerleaders go away, and it's really just you on the grind during those low times. Try to get into something and try to focus your business towards something that you have a talent, a passion, something that's within your purpose, because once that income slows down, and it will, you're going to have peaks and valleys, right? What carries you through those valleys is your passion and your purpose and knowing this is bigger than you. This is impactful. So you're making impact and income. And during those slow times where people aren't hollering and hoopling, hoopline about how amazing you are, you'll find that those gaps will be filled too financially. Those gaps where we feel too financially. So if you do it within your purpose, I think that is definitely going to help you be more consistent. Yeah.
Wow.
Good
And
stuff. Woo!
I know. I'm taking. Look, I'm taking notes. Passion, impact, and income. Girl, you sound like you're preaching
Impact
here.
and income.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Lois, okay,
Mm-hmm.
your name is Lois Madhi.
Yes.
Okay. And the name of your company is Lois Lane. So tell
Consulting
us,
firm.
we all know Lois Lane, okay? Tell us, how did you come up with that name?
It was a running joke actually, because most of the people, I'm always so helpful. And when I was a little girl, I used to just want to save the world, right? So I grew up thinking, what was the song? I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and help them lead. So I was just all about that song. That was my life purpose, right? And I'm always trying to just help someone, save someone. And they was like, okay, Lois Lane. Okay, Lois Lane. And even when it came to business, it transcended, because this is me 24/7. Like, I'm just always trying to help, and it became a running joke where people were like, okay, Lois Lane, or Lois like Lois Lane, and I'm like, you know what, yeah, Lois like Lois Lane. So I figured it would be a very fitting name to name my business, Lois Lane Consulting Firm. Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
Wow. Wow. It was almost like they were prophesying what your life would be at a very young age. Isn't that incredible?
Yes, definitely. When I was in high school, it's funny. They were like, you're gonna be the next Oprah. And I'm like, I'm gonna be better than Oprah.
Say it, girl. Huh. Oprah is Oprah. Lois is Lois. Okay?
Oprah is
Talk
Oprah,
about it.
but there's only one Lois Lane.
Yes. Yes.
Melanated
That's
Lois Lane.
I love that.
Yeah, it was like that. It was like that. But
Okay.
I love us. Go ahead.
So, all right, you're a businesswoman, you're a mother. And in our conversation, I understand that you're also writing a book. Is this
Yes.
your first book that you're writing? Tell us about this project.
Okay, awesome. So this project is tailored towards my transition to helping young adults. I think that if you give them the tools and the resources, because they're so talented, they're so ambitious, but they need that direction. And I'm driven from the fact that I had a mentor that helped propel me to the next level in business and really just take me under her wing. And so I'm trying to figure out, how can I do that on a larger scale? And so if I put it in a book, then I can get the book to many, many people and be what my mentor was for me, for many individuals.
Right.
And as I was compiling all the information from my experience in consulting, the experience from being mentored, and just even in business as a whole, as I was compiling that, I was talking to God, and I said, I need you to help me articulate the words to where they're going to be receptive to it and they get it. And so the book is teaching business, but it's starting with teaching them to focus on that God-given talent and passion, right? Because that's what's going to help them be consistent. You'll spend all day and night on something if you're passionate about it, right? With an intense desire. But I'm starting with passion, but the main thing and the main differentiator is teaching business and how to be successful in it. Whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're working in a career that you love, I'm teaching it through nature, and God literally gave me that. So how I articulate it, it will ensure that once they step out of their front door, they're quickly reminded by just looking at, we can't avoid nature. It gives to us every day. That's how we breathe. It's the oxygen, right? From the trees,
Right.
transforming that, so that we can breathe freely. And that's one thing that's the most abundant because it has God's blueprint in it, right? So
Wow.
despite COVID, you still need your landscaper because that grass is growing. They
Right.
don't, Mother Nature doesn't know COVID's going on right now. Only we do.
Right.
She's still
Absolutely.
blooming, flourishing, being very abundant. And there's a lot to learn through nature. So I was able to articulate the lessons of business and my successes by using the successes and correlating that with Mother Nature. And so it's a lot that we can learn personally and professionally from Mother Nature. And that's what the book is compiled of.
Wow.
Like a rose through the concrete. Start where you are.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Fragile a rose is. Do you know how fragile a rose
Yes.
is? And it can grow through the concrete. Do you know how strong we were created?
Wow.
We can start right where we are. We can grow through any obstacle. All of that is, the keys to success is in Mother Nature. So I won't give too much.
Wow. No, we'll just say we'll have to wait.
There's a lot.
But I think,
Yes.
I know you mentioned in the beginning that the book, the age group is like from 15 to 20 something or 30 something.
25, 15 to 25.
15 to 25. But just hearing you talk about how Mother Nature, we can learn from Mother Nature and use that in our businesses and in our personal lives. I'm thinking, shoot, I need to read the book too. No, seriously, I think it would impact all of our lives because we do tend to take Mother Nature for granted. And when you said that Mother Nature is not impacted by COVID, that really hit home.
Right?
It is. That hit home for me because the trees are still growing. They're still doing what the trees do to grow, to give shade, to produce fruit, give off oxygen. They're still doing what they're supposed to do. They're not affected by COVID. And we're created above them. God created us above them. So why is it that we don't see, that is good.
Girl,
that's good.
Y'all are gonna see. This is where passion is so important in what you do in your business, right? I am like, let me pull up and maybe give y'all the higher level stuff. I would love to just so you guys can really understand how this works. So I'm going to tell you about my favorite season, and it's fall. So during fall, the trees go through a process of abscission. Okay. Abscission is the natural detachment of things that no longer are needed. You understand?
Wow.
Now you can think of a million ways to apply that, right?
Yeah.
The detachment is the detachment, letting go of things that are no longer needed. That could be practices, that could be traditions, paradigms that we done been taught wrong, but it could be things that no longer serve you purpose. But let me tell you how beautiful God exemplifies Mother Nature going through this process. Even though she drops it all every single fall without fail. Have you ever went through a fall and you didn't see those leaves drop? Now we know evergreens are exceptions to the rule.
Right.
But the leaves change, right? So you need to be easily adaptable to change. And then, but their changing is a process of efficiency. Girl, so much. But anyway, so let's break down this abscission real quick because it's good. So if the trees did not drop their leaves and their weak limbs prior to winter, if they did not do that in the fall, when the winter cold comes, it could cause it to die itself because it's holding too much weight. See, there's chlorophyll liquid in those leaves. So that's why that has to go down to the ground. The broken limbs, the damaged limbs, the weak limbs, they have to drop as well because the tree itself will not survive the winter carrying all that weight. So if you do not let it go, it will be to your detriment. So you have to learn how to let it go. But the beauty that Mother Nature shows us is it decomposes, it creates fertile soil, and it gives opportunity for new life. Because every single year, Mother Nature comes back so abundantly. After giving it all away, then she receives it so much more abundantly. You understand what I'm saying? And what she's giving away are the things that are no longer needed. So it takes us looking at our business, looking at our lives, really, and seeing what is serving me value and what do I need to let go. And it's okay to let it go because it gives that a new opportunity at new life and new growth. But you have to drop it, or it could be to your own detriment. It will kill your business. It can kill so many other situations if you don't let go of the things that no longer benefit you. You gotta be okay with that. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna get ready to throw this phone. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're gonna see me in a few minutes. It's over. Wait. Let me tell you something. Okay? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
That's a smidge of the fall.
One thing that my grandfather has taught me about is nature. I grew up, my grandparents, were in my home, they raised us, I was there. He would take me outside all the time and we would look at the stars. He would say, look what God did. Look at the grass, look at this, look at the trees. Look, and I was, like, okay, we're out here again. I just enjoyed being up under him. So it didn't matter to me until I became an adult and those things started to come back. And I started to pay attention. I would look up to the clouds and I would see angels form. Or I would look over to another tree and I'll see certain, essentials or things concerning the trees or concerning the grass. But I was driving one day and it was with my daughter, my 11-year-old. And I was driving, I was having a hard time. A bunch of stuff going on in my life at that time. And God told me to look over. He said, look over to the trees. And it was fall at this time. And they were beautiful. And I was like, wow, the trees are beautiful. And he said, this is a reminder that seasons change. And I never, ever, ever forgot that. And I kept that with me. And every time I look at my daughter, she's a constant reminder that seasons change. When I see her face and I hear that word that came, and it was just as simple as looking at his nature. I just looked over at a tree that was beautiful. And, as you said, in the processing of everything that was going on, and he spoke to me and said, seasons change. Fast forward to my business, which is Cupcakes and Coffee. We did a summer camp. And my passion is for kids as well. And we did a summer camp for them. And I had 2 little boys that were in this camp. And, they were, they were acting up now. they were, They weren't doing the right thing. And, they weren't making great choices, as people say, down in school. So, my partner at the time that was with me, she was doing writing assessment. So I was doing the art, she was doing the writing. And she knew him and she was like, oh no, Deetra, we're not gonna tolerate. I said, no, let me work with them. Let me work with these boys. So once again, they was rough now. Listen, they were rough. So I had to take one, and they were twins. So they bounced off of each other. So if one twin was doing something, the other one was like, well, I'm gonna do it too. They was just, listen, it was bad. So I had to pull one out, talk to him, then talk to the other one, things of that stuff. Long story short, the one I had to really get, because Tambera was done. She was like, I'm taking you home. I'm done with this. You're disrupting the class. I'm taking you out of here. Pack your stuff and let's go, right? So I said, give me one more, let me talk to him. So I pulled him outside, had a talk with him, and I said, I don't know what's going on with you right now, you know, but I don't want you to leave this program because I feel like this program will be good for you. I feel like with art, I explained what art is and form of expression that he can use. And I said, I want you to take these feelings, go back in here and put it on the canvas. And after that, after you do that, let's come back and let's, you know, whatever this and that, right? So he goes in there. His twin is fine. His twin is all cool, nothing going on, right? He comes back in there and he starts painting and just going at it, just, right? And then all of a sudden, he just kicking off. You know, he's like, I need another canvas. I'm like, here. I need another canvas. Here. At the end of that, after he went through all of that and put all of that aggression that he had on canvas, he said at the end, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And let me tell you something. I'm about to tear up right now. That is what this was all about. What you're speaking about with passion. And, you know, income is going to come. You know, it's going to happen. It's a part of it. And yes, you do want to get into business. But when something like that happens and it takes place, it takes you to a different height. And it reminds you, as you said, what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I love
Wow.
it. I mean, I think that, like I said, when I thought about what would resonate and what would be receptive,
Mm-hmm.
God gave me use Mother Nature. Use
Mm-hmm.
nature.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is just looking at it like, oh, okay, the leaves are changing. But there's meaning in that. There's efficiency in that. There's a process in that. There's a message in that, right? When they drop their leaves, we are so attached to so many things.
Mm-hmm.
There's things we don't want to let go of,
Mm-hmm.
but it's holding us back. So Mother Nature is showing you how to let it go and trusting and knowing you're going to get it back, not just get it back the same, because don't ever forget this. Mother Nature comes back bigger and better every spring, without fail, without fail. But that's after letting it all go. You understand? So each season I break down the business lessons and I do it spring, summer, fall, winter, and it's just so many lessons. It's so beneficial for business, for life. I have peers and friends in my network that are older than me, and they're like, I need this.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the book, but I'm also putting it into a curriculum as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, I'm 43 and I'm buying the book. Okay. Everybody's gonna get a book. You get a book, you get a book, you get a book, and you get a book. Everybody's getting a book. Okay. And I'm not Oprah. I'm deep fresh. Everybody's getting a book, honey.
I mean, that's deep.
Oh, I am. Let me tell you something.
Y'all heard a smidgen of
I'm not even here right now.
Listen, and she
heard a smidgen of fall, but I love your story.
She just talked about fall. I can only imagine what the rest of fall is about, and winter, summer, and spring. Oh my God. And you know what? In just hearing you in the way that you articulate this, that's God.
Yes. Yes.
That's truly God. I mean, this came straight from the throne.
The source.
It came straight from him. So, I mean, because who would know nature better than the one who created nature?
That's right.
Oh my God. Incredible. You know, and I was thinking, as you were talking, Lois, I mean, we've had some incredible, as Oprah would say, aha moments on this show. when Wanda was on here, and her book is called I Am Enough. And we kept saying that, I am enough. That resonated with us. And then Kathy did something last Saturday that also gave us an aha moment. And here you are talking about Mother Nature and relating it to business and then even to our own personal life, getting rid of stuff. I can see that right now, even in my personal life, because sometimes we don't take an evaluation of people. We don't take evaluation of projects. Some things we're not supposed to be doing. So they're distractions. They're taking up too much of our time from the things that we are supposed to be focusing on. And so that's just incredible.
It's powerful.
Awesome. For young adults, there's a part that I focus on social media because it's very addictive. But it's not, you're within the power and control of that. So turn it off, shut it off, let it go. Time yourself, give yourself restrictions, be a little bit more efficient. Is it taking you towards it or away from it? Do you need this platform to be successful in achieving your goals? All right, then that's a weekend activity. So you have to ensure that if it's not taking you towards it, and it's taking you further away, is that something you need to let go and be okay with that? Even if it's relationships, even if it's friends and homies that's been there forever. And that's why, I've said to you, Charmaine, everybody can't go, right? It doesn't mean you love them any less. But the beauty that fall and Mother Nature teaches us is that when you let them go, it gives them an opportunity for new growth as well. You understand that, right? So that decomposes, it fertilizes into the richest topsoil. Okay. And you can see new growth coming up. But if you don't let go, you're not only holding yourself back, you're holding them back. They need to see that.
Wow.
It's a double
Huh? I just need. Can I throw the phone across the room? Will you guys ban this if I throw it? I'm sorry. I just want to.
Let me tell you something.
It's real.
Oh my God,
it's
it
real.
Is so real. Let me tell you. I was having some work done in the yard, probably I want to say about 4 months ago, and there's some beautiful flowering trees that had not begun to bloom yet. And I was having the guy to clean around the trees. I was very specific. Please don't cut these trees down, but everything else remove, And yesterday we were out there again removing stuff, and these trees now have beautiful flowers on them, but they also have little trees. It's like they've multiplied. They've begun to grow next to the big ones. And that wasn't there before, and so removing the old stuff or the stuff that shouldn't be there has now allowed more to come. Beautiful stuff to you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I can't take it. I can't take it either.
Oh,
go ahead. Keep going.
I know. And listen, it gets so much more powerful. I could give y'all example after example after example after example.
No, put it in the book. We want to read the book.
See it. And we're waiting for it.
It's in the book.
But I understand as well why you picked that age range. Because you can when you put this, what God has given you into that age range, oh my gosh, but they get that at that age.
Yeah, it's life changing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, incredible. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to start book lunch immediately. The workshop, the seminar, the show. I can't wait. I just can't wait for that.
I just can't wait. Okay, listen. She can have her own launching place. You can visit all 3 avenues at once. I'll have my station, and I'll say she'll be arriving soon. Charmaine will say she'll be arriving in 2 hours. You know, just go everywhere, girl. Listen, we ready. We're ready. We're ready.
Yes, I'm excited. Deetra, your story inspired me. You said God told you to look over. I've had so many look over moments, y'all. Like, I told you, I was at a red light and I looked over and landed a contract. Like, just, yeah.
It's something about the left. He always has me to look to the left. And when I look to the left, it could be birds, it could be whatever it is at that particular time. But he always has me to look to the left. He say, look over. And I never go to the right. I always look to the left because it's been years. I've been doing it. Look over.
Yeah.
Look up.
Yeah.
Look over.
Well,
yeah.
Lois Madhi of Lois Consulting Firm. We love you so much.
Yes, mutual. Same.
Girlfriend, I am I'm so glad our paths have crossed. I am happy to be a part of your tribe, and you're a part of my tribe and our tribe. I mean, I'm so excited about everything that God is doing in your life. Is there anything else that you would love to tell our viewers before we end the show?
I would say, where are we? We're in summer right now, but I would recommend everyone to do like spring in germination, and it's go season. Grow through the concrete, like a rose grows through the concrete. You can do it. Whatever your idea is, whatever your passion is, whatever your purpose is, don't wait on perfection, because that's just another form of procrastination.
Right.
Grow through the concrete. Go now with whatever it is and trust that it will be successful, and know that the gaps will be filled. But go.
Awesome.
And if you need a reminder, look at the rose growing through the concrete. Look at the weeds growing through the driveways, through the curbs. Whatever you need to know that you can go.
Wow.
Make sure you go.
Amazing.
Get started.
Listen, before we go, how can people get in contact with you? Can you give them your social media and contact information so that they too can get a copy of the book and follow you?
Okay. My IG is Lois Lane Consulting Firm. And that's LOISLANE Consulting Firm. I actually have a business number if you need to reach me for consulting purposes, and we can do an assessment and ensure we're a good fit. And that number is 678-612-6209. And I just wish everyone success. Let's go get it. It's too much opportunity not to.
Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome.
That's it.
Indra, last words.
I listen, you know, I'm not even here. I know you all see me, but I'm not here. Listen, I'm posting this probably every 30 minutes because so many people need to hear this today. They need to hear it in the season that we're in. So I appreciate you, sister, for who you are, and what you have presented to us today clearly is from the inside out. So I salute and honor you today, and we thank you for coming on our show.
Wow.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you all for having me. Y'all my tribe, so if you need me, hit me up.
Awesome. Go and grow. That's what I took from this. Go and grow. So as we always say, we will be here next Saturday, same place, same time. Join us for another amazing guest. And as always, Raheem, we love you, our station manager. Thank you for all that you do and keeping us going. We'll see you guys next time, next Saturday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.